My father paid my fiancé $50,000 to break off our engagement and marry my cousin instead. I found out when I saw the email confirming it, and my entire world shattered. I'd been working late, finishing a report. My partner of 4 years, James, had texted saying he was staying at his place. We were supposed to get married in 6 months. The invitations were sent. My wedding dress was hanging in my closet. I was exhausted, my eyes blurry from staring at spreadsheets all day. I reached for my phone and noticed James's laptop was still on the coffee table. He'd left it here. The screen was just dimmed, not off. I'm not the type to snoop, but a notification from my own father caught my eye. The subject line read, our arrangement. My hand moved before I could think. I clicked it open. My father's words burned into my brain. James, I've wired the final $25,000 to your account, as discussed. That completes the agreed $50,000 total. I know this is difficult, but Mia can offer you a lifestyle that Sarah simply cannot. The email was ruthless. Her family's marketing connections will accelerate your career far beyond what my daughter could offer. Mia's trust fund alone exceeds what Sarah will earn in her entire lifetime. You are making the intelligent choice. When you end the engagement, keep it clean. Sarah doesn't need to know. And then, the final blow, she will move on eventually. She always does what is practical. Below that was James's reply, sent just a few hours earlier. I understand, Mr. Richardson, I care for Sarah, but you're right about the opportunities with Mia. I'll end things this weekend. Thank you for the clarity. The money will help me start fresh. I read it over and over until the words became meaningless. My own father had paid the man I loved to leave me for my cousin. Mia, my bubbly, glamorous cousin who was supposed to be my bridesmaid. We'd grown up like sisters. The room started to spin. For years. For years of planning a future, of family dinners, where my dad would call James son, it was all just a business deal. Every single moment had a price. I sat there in the dark, my work forgotten. I'd spent my life being the responsible one, the practical one, qualities my father supposedly admired. But apparently, my worth was less than $50,000. The betrayal stung, but the worst part was hearing his voice in my head. She always does what is practical. He knew I wouldn't make a scene. He knew I'd just accept it. I looked at my engagement ring. James had proposed on a beach at sunset, calling me his best friend. It was all a lie. I could have printed the email, confronted them all. But I didn't. I sat there until dawn, and then I made a choice. I was going to destroy his perception of me. The next morning, I called in sick. I broke my lease. I hired a lawyer. When James texted to ask me to dinner, I was ready. I met him at our favorite Italian restaurant. He was fidgeting, obviously nervous about the breakup speech he'd been paid to deliver. Sarah, he started, his voice dripping with fake sympathy. I've been doing a lot of thinking. It's okay. I cut him off, my voice like ice. I know. The color drained from his face. You know, he stammered. I know you want to end things, I said, lying smoothly. Honestly, I've been feeling the same way. We've just grown apart. I watched the relief wash over him and felt nothing. You're being so understanding, he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled it away. I just want us both to be happy, I told him. You should be with someone who matches your ambitions. He flinched, probably recognizing my father's words. I slid the engagement ring off my finger and put it on the table. Keep it, I said. Sell it. Do whatever you want. I left him sitting there, grateful for the easy breakup my father had bought. I didn't cry until I got home. Then I sobbed for hours, grieving the lost time, the father I thought I had, and the cousin I trusted. When I was done, I made a promise to myself. I would never let anyone devalue me again. 2 weeks later, I was on a one-way flight to Singapore. I'd taken a senior accountant job at a fintech startup. I'd turned it down before to stay close to James, to be practical. To hell with practical. I told my family it was a career move and didn't mention the money. The day before I left, my father called. Sarah, this is rash. You're being impulsive. No, Dad, I said. I'm being practical. It's a huge opportunity. You always said to prioritize my career. He asked about James. We're over, I said. It was mutual. There was a long silence on his end. Well, he finally said, Mia will miss you. I'm sure she'll be fine. I replied, and hung up. Singapore was a whirlwind. I threw myself into my work. The CEO, Rachel Chen, was a force of nature, and under her, I thrived. Turns out, when you stop shrinking yourself for other people, you can accomplish incredible things. Within 6 months, I was the controller. A year later, CFO. By year 2, our company was preparing for an IPO. I worked 100-hour weeks, learned Mandarin, and built a life that was entirely my own. I kept my family at a distance for 3 years, until my brother, Michael, emailed me. He was getting married and wanted me there. I couldn't punish him for our father's mistakes. I'll come, I told him, on one condition. I'm bringing a +1. His name was Daniel, a venture capitalist I'd met in Tokyo. He was my equal, someone who challenged and respected me. When I warned him about my family drama, he just said, "Sounds like the most interesting wedding of the year." The rehearsal dinner was tense. I walked in wearing a dress that screamed success, with Daniel by my side. The room went quiet. My father looked older, grayer. Mia and James were there too. They both looked strained, like they aged a decade. My father tried to size Daniel up. "So, Daniel, what do you do?" "I run a VC firm," Daniel said smoothly. "But Sarah is the real earner here. Her company went public last year. She's done remarkably well." The table fell silent. "You went public?" My father stared at me. "Yes," I said, sipping my wine. "We rang the bell at the Singapore Exchange last June." Later, my father cornered me. "I owe you an apology," he began. "I didn't see this success coming." "No," I said. "You didn't." He tried to justify his actions, saying he thought he was helping everyone. "You put a price on me," I told him. He asked for forgiveness. "I don't know," I said honestly. "I learned my worth without you. Don't mistake my presence here for forgiveness." At the wedding reception, I learned that James had cheated on Mia, but they were staying together for their brand. They were miserable, trapped in a cage my father had built for them. During the bouquet toss, it flew right into my hands. Daniel pulled me onto the dance floor. "Want to make an honest man of me?" he whispered. "I'm asking if you'll say yes. Will I propose in Bali next month?" I've had the ring for weeks. I looked at my miserable family, then at Daniel, my partner. "Yes," I said. My father approached us later, trying to say he was proud. "Don't," I stopped him. "You don't get to take credit for this. You broke our family." I walked away, back to the life I had built. 3 months later, Daniel proposed on a beach in Bali. We had a small wedding in Singapore. My mother and brother came. My father sent a check, which I tore up. Mia sent an Instagram message, which I left on read. My life isn't what I planned, but it's so much better. That $50,000 was the best investment my father ever made. It bought me the freedom to become who I was always meant to be. Thanks for watching.